Okay, so we good to go. Let me see, and let me see, we are live everywhere now. I'm gonna kind of wait. Like I said, make sure everybody's volume's down the on their uh, telephone, so we don't have any echoes. So let's see what we got. Make sure is everybody down because I'm hearing an echo.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we need to mute on the IG. Very good.
No, just turn on your phone. Just turn it down as low as it'll go. Now, some of y'all might be using external speakers, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
That might be what that little feedback is. But that's fine.
Mhm. Okay.
'Cause-
I can
okay,
mute.
okay. I mean that's it is what it is. So we can roll. All right. So thank y'all very much for again tuning in. We have a very interesting topic tonight and some very interesting individuals. Of course, Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast. If you haven't already, please press that follow button on here and also share this and like it so we can get so people can know what we're actually doing this. Um, just trying to. I'm hearing some feedback, but okay. And are if you're watching this and if you want to, you can actually go to YouTube. It's Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. You can go to YouTube to listen to this as well. Sounds like feedback. It's sounding a little bit better. If you want to hear that, you do have that option just to go to YouTube, click the link on Polka Dot Rabbit podcast, and it'll take you right to it. Um, if you haven't already, please go to Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. Check out my book, Bicultural Living and Leaving the World of Illusions. Polka Dot Rabbit podcast is here to uplift humanity and also, in addition to assist in awaking the melanated woolly head zombies that have been asleep for a very long time and are finally starting to stretch their arms and yawn as the sun shoots down these rays on us to wake us up. So as always, that's it for me. Ain't nothing gonna change. I'm gonna let all these beautiful individuals introduce themselves. We'll keep it rolling. Go ahead.
Uh, well, I'm a DJ Green from Florida. I wrote the book Heart and Soul of the Integration System. Level 1. I also teach courses, level 1 and 2, and coming up 2.5. Um, have background in Qigong, Tantra, uh, Tantra, and now this system, the integration system, aka the heart work. That's about it for right now.
Yeah, and if y'all have ever watched the Polka Dot River podcast, y'all DJ Greens to be familiar. He's definitely a returning guest multiple times. So you can go back and watch a couple of episodes he did when he was dropping some very important and devastating information. If you said to me, he blew my mind a couple times. Okay, who's next? Okay. I think you're muted. I think you're muted. Just turn your
I'm good.
phone.
Okay.
Okay, there
I'm
you
back
go.
now. Who am
There you
I?
go.
Okay. I'm Melissa Lewis,
Hmm.
CEO and founder of Re-Kee Services, which is a integrative wellness center focusing on the cultivation of the mind, body, and spirit. And we really target not only just physical, but the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, and the social parts of ourselves. And a lot of times we forget about a social part because that's important for us to interact with people. And especially in this day and time right now, the social component is totally thrown out. So Re-Kee Services has quite a collective of wonderful practitioners and naturopaths, the energy workers, and they offer alternative and complementary health modalities for people who are suffering from anxiety, depression, spiritual attachments, and even uncovering past lives that help you identify some of those repeated patterns that people may have. And who am I? I am a national certified counselor and associate counselor. I also do some hypnotherapies, NLP, and a certified career and life coach. And I like to really work with people to try to help with their careers, put them on their path, help them understand where they're going, and all the other wonderful practitioners that work with Re-Kee Services assist in all that journey. That's who I
That's
am.
beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I appreciate you because we definitely need people, everybody here. We need y'all now in this day and time. So I definitely appreciate that. You know, you putting the time and honing that skill to assist us. And who else we got next?
Yes, it's me, Dr. Candice. Excuse my voice. I kind of got a head cold going on, so I'm trying to manage this cough the best way I can. But I am Dr. Candice. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and sex therapist. I own a New Creation Psychotherapy Services, which is a holistic group practice in Fayetteville. I also own a Tantric MFT, where I do the spiritual work, divination, Tantra, and heart work integration. Level 1. And in the New Creation, we do the individual, couple, family, and sex therapy and groups as well. So we have a focus on, trauma, post-traumatic growth, and transpersonal therapy or psychology that focuses, like similar to Mellisa, not only on just the mind and the body, but also the spirit. And it's very much integrated and incorporated into our work and how we help to serve and heal our clients and assist them in that process.
You know, it's so amazing because back in the day you just think you'll have only certain options, you know what I mean, to get help. And now we know we have way more different options, and also this is something that this is like our ancient sciences that it would have been done by our ancestors. So that's again, that's a beautiful thing. Now, I'm gonna say this because Don, yeah, like he said, he's been on here twice. I'm gonna give him his time as well, but I want to know about y'all too. I want to hear about. I know Don. so so Melissa,
Mhm.
like as far as your life goes, like what was it that happened in your life to get you in this field that you are now?
Whew. Um, Therapists always need therapists. So
Hmm.
I had a journey that I had to go through that allowed, created a lot of abandonment issues, a lot of insecurities, a lot of not totally understanding who I am. And I can give credit to quite a lot of people that have been on my spiritual journey from the very beginning of even understanding African culture,
Hmm.
even Tantra. Master Yao was my teacher, my master teacher in Tantra that really helped me understand myself as far as really delving in. Why am I doing certain things? What am I pattern? Those counterfeit personalities, all of that. So once I realized that, I changed a lot of my dating habits. I changed a
Hmm.
lot of how I interacted with individuals, people just in general, how I looked at life. I look at life as being full of gratitude now, which helps me. And I always had that part of myself that loved to talk. I started off in television. I've been in TV industry over 26 years, not to say my
Hmm.
age, but over 26 years. And throughout this career, what do you do in TV? Really talk to people, get stories from people. And I've always been doing that. So I decided on a career that I can just truly step away, not just saying I want to get the bad parts of everything, but how can I solve things for people? How can I make things better for people? People would come to me even at my job and have these conversations like, oh, I want to talk to you about this. So I decided this profession is something that I can always, no matter what age I am, I can continue helping people throughout my life. This is the reason why I got into therapy, and also to help broken people. We always are growing. But when I look at trauma, women through domestic violence, I deal with a lot of that. Looking at children, helping them grow and understand who they are. And I had problems even in my spiritual path. I would see things, I would see spirits, didn't understand them. I grew up in a very Christian background. I won't say what religion, but I grew up in a very strict religious background, which created an opportunity for people to say you're the devil because you believed in this or you saw this. And I tried to shut it down. And when I shut it down, I may have shut down the site, but I absolutely hear and I absolutely feel, and that helps me more with understanding people when I'm talking to them in therapy.
So, what was your I mean, a lot of us had some of the story when it comes to the religious thing for obvious reasons. What was your aha moment? When you were like, when you, I mean, did you know that that you found a gift that you had, or did you know what was that moment you were like, yo, I got to go to this path? What was that like?
Oh, it was a journey. I'm just going to
Mm-hmm.
have to let you know it was a journey because I was so fearful of it. And I can still say sometimes I have fear now. I almost was fearful about coming on here, but I was fearful now. But I know that my stories, and even Dr. Candice can tell you, when we're doing therapy, the most authentic part of ourselves has to be present with a person
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because people, no matter what, they see through you. You can talk a good game, but people can see through you and they can see if you're authentic or not. And I'm one that I am I won't say curse words, but I'm no BS type of person. And
Mm-hmm.
people who know me know that. So when
Yeah.
I'm giving you therapy and when I'm doing sessions with you, I see through. I hear what you say and I hear what you don't say. So when my aha moment came, when I start realizing I'm helping people and I almost go into trance when I'm doing therapy. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the words that are coming out and downloads that I'm getting, they're not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily from the book.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually coming from spirit. And that's another thing we'll talk about later on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel, and everyone who sits in front of me will feel who I am. Everyone who sits in front of me, I have experienced. So when
Mm-hmm.
I started really realizing it, I'm gonna just be honest, it was the older I got, because I was so much
Yeah.
in fear that I had to really connect to me. And I had to do some serious shadow work to really find out what it is that I needed to do to help people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to help you if you're not trying to be helped. I have
Yeah.
turned down clients in a minute. I will
Mm-hmm.
definitely do that because if you're not trying to go forward in life and be the best version of yourself, then you don't need
Mm-hmm.
me. You may go to
Yeah.
somebody else, but you don't need me.
Okay. And I mean, and that makes perfect sense. Now, let me ask you this now. So,
Oh
like I
my
said,
God.
like,
Oh my God. Okay, go ahead.
yeah. So, like I said, what was that? What was that? What was that? What was that spark? What was that thing you were like, no, I gotta do this. You know, I gotta go down this route. This is all that the church stuff ain't working for me. No, 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 no. What what was that thing when you like, yo, I have to do this? And was there something that you when you knew you had a gift? And what was that?
Um, I would probably say after I separated from one of my relationships
Mm-hmm.
and I had to look at who I really was. I'd hide a lot. And
Mm.
people who know me know I hide a lot. I put a lot of people in front of me. So I had to get stripped apart.
Mm.
And when I got stripped down after that
Mm-hmm.
relationship, and I had a special friend, a guy friend who was just a friend, but he would stay on me and say, what is the purpose of you being in this relationship? How is it helping you? How
Yeah.
is he just made me, really realize, what are you doing? What are you doing? And is it benefiting you? No. And once I
Mm-hmm.
realized it wasn't benefiting me, and I felt like all of these women who are out here, or whatever relationships you men or women, were just going through, just going like robots, going through a relationship because either they like, and I'm just gonna be, either they want money or the opportunity or situations that not necessarily is going to benefit them. But yet
Mm-hmm.
and still, they still go through it. So why? Heal first, and then bring someone to you.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Candice can definitely, see that she's a marriage and family therapist. I
Mm-hmm.
work with couples, but I'm going to say for really, that aha moment came after I got stripped down to really realize I was just going through the process of a relationship, understanding people, understanding not totally understanding who I am. I had to realize who I was. And once I realized that, I'm still growing. I'm not all the way there. This is a journey of healing. Everything that we're doing, from Donald, understanding who Donald has been trying to push me, he's pushed me. I don't go forward. I don't do this. And Donald made me come on and do this because I do have, I have a voice, and he makes me want to use my voice. And I could go on, but I'm not taking up the show. And so I definitely, that is an aha moment, possibly, I want to say 10 years ago.
And what is it? And what is it? Is it just the fact that you're able to use your wisdom to assist people? Is that pretty much?
Absolutely.
Okay, I got you.
Past lives.
Got you.
Use my experience. It comes naturally. I almost quit grad school because I was like, if I can't do this therapy the way I feel like it needs to be done, and I'll get in trouble for that. But I do, properly do it the correct way. However, I'm going to be real with people, and I sit in front of people and really hear them. What is your needs? Then I get downloads, and from those downloads, I can disseminate information to them.
Yeah, it's always been very interesting to me, especially with women. It's obviously melanated women. It's just once y'all tap in, y'all are just like wide open. You know what I mean? And the more you just tap in, the more that you're able to just not only receive but give once you receive. You know what I mean? It's always a beautiful thing when I see even dealing with things like when people like and in voodoo and different things, when people get into trances, they get possessed, and whatever the case may be. It's always a beautiful thing just to see that connection to source. You know what I mean? It's always a beautiful thing. Okay. Thank you very much, Mellisa.
You're welcome.
And now we're moving on to Miss Candice. No, hey, don't get to. I'm coming back. Don't do that. But Miss Candice. Okay, here we go. Say so. Say similar question. What got you on this path? Let's specifically kind of talk about, your life experience. Growing up and like how that was and how that kind of put you in the seat you are now.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's kind of multifaceted. So from the therapist perspective, I is there an echo? Does it sound like there's feedback or anything? Okay. I always knew I was, I had a rough life, a rough upbringing, or you could say humbling beginnings. It was meant for me to do this. And so I grew up in an impoverished neighborhood with lots of community violence, witness to domestic violence and things like that. So that's what thrived my passion for working with those who are survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault and abuse. So that's kind of what started my way in the therapy world. And, from the spiritual perspective, similar to Mellisa, I always heard things and always saw things, and I was always the scared one. And I never really had anyone to talk to except for my cousin, because we both shared that. And, people would say like, oh, you probably dreaming, or, it's not really happening. And oftentimes, like even to this day, I sleep with the TV on, because every time I sleep in the dark by myself, I'm hearing all kinds of stuff that I don't got time for. So now it's just habit mixed with that. And so, I ran from that gift for so long because I was afraid and didn't know, I guess, what to expect from that and what that would look like for me. So I often struggle with that, and even in incorporating it into therapy life. So I did a divination last January, somewhere in there, or even before that. My first ancestral divination was in 2018. And she shared with me that I should study or look into tantric healing practices, Eastern medicine, things like that. And so I wrote it off because I was like, I just knew about Tantra that you can have sex for hours. And then I didn't even understand nearly close to what it really stood for and things like that. So I got a divination again last January, and the priestess shared with me that I wasn't being my true authentic self. And as a therapist, I'm like, well, I lead with the self. Like I'm the tool. So I'm authentic. I'm being real. So she was like, no, you're supposed to be wearing head wraps and dresses and healing people and doing all this stuff. So I'm like, what is this? What's going on here where, I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I did a past life regression, and then all I saw was like this woman that was healing people. It wasn't me, but I know the soul is ancient. So I knew it was my, past life and, healing people by touch and things like that. So I still didn't make sense of it. A month later, I got another divination where the woman shared that I wasn't being operating my true self again. So I'm like, what is this? Like, you know, so she asked for my son, because my son is Aries, my moon is Virgo, and my ascendant is Scorpio. And so, and then I also told her I was, you know, a sex therapist and marriage and family therapist and things like that. And so she was like, when I told her my ascending, she was like, girl, you are a sensual goddess. I'm gonna need you to look into tantric healing practices, because, you know, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And so from there, you know, I had found the priestess that I work with back in last January. She knew somebody that studied a Master Yao with Grand Trine. I think it's Angelo. And that's when he gave me Master Yao's number, gave me a couple of books. Like, he was so sweet. And then I said, okay, let me hit up Master Yao. You know, we talked for about a good hour, and he asked, had I ever heard of Grand Trine or Tantra and things like that. And I was like, you know, the same thing I said earlier, that you can have sex for hours. That's all I knew about, but it's so much more than that. And that's when he educated me, told me about taking, you know, the classes. And that was like last March. And so from there on, I just continued to learn and develop and really, you know, bask in the gifts that I have been given. And, you know, even when it comes to like mediumship, like I do a lot of divinations. I didn't even know I had this thing, you know, and especially the mediumship, that kind of freaked me out, because I was having these dreams and like same similar to you, Mellisa, getting these messages even during therapy. Like literally today I had a client, I was like, you need to ground yourself, stand in grass. She was like, girl, you in the spirit right now, because that's exactly what I was about to do, you know. And so just things that people need that you don't even realize. Sometimes, like you say, you get these downloads, or you just start talking. So sometimes I'll say, I don't know if this is me, I don't know if this is spirit, but I'm just going to go with what you need, because this is something that I feel is beneficial and necessary. And so to incorporate, I feel like being a therapist and doing this work, like between the heart work and the, you know, tantra work, it just marries so well. So a lot of my therapy clients have become my heart work and tantra clients, you know. And so, and then even in the heart work, we can process some of those traumas, some of those things that they've been carrying and holding on to, which has been incredibly beneficial. So it just adds an extra layer of healing. And it fell on my lap. Like, I started the tantra and heart work stuff, probably the business officially last November. And so it's like, I didn't expect it for it to take off the way it did, but it's definitely a blessing. And it's letting me know that I'm supposed to do this work.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay. And last but not least, we got my man Don. Yeah. So, you know, question: Have you said the next part of the book is coming up? Is that correct? I think you still muted. I think Don on IG. Let me see.
Okay, no, I would say you was talking to me or Candice.
Yeah, I was talking to you, Don.
Yeah, the next part of the book coming up, but it's not going to be for everybody.
Okay.
It's just going to be for I decided it's just going to be for certain students
Okay.
that really reached a certain point, and just to try to preserve the integrity of the system. Or, you know, as I already have a lot of people. I ain't gonna say a lot of people, but I already have certain people that's taking from it and switching it up and making it into their own thing, and they really don't understand what they're doing. So the next book that does come out is only going to be for certain students.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, okay. Keep the secret sacred. I got you. Ain't nothing wrong with that, boy. That's. I mean, that's how we. You know, that's how our societies have made it this long. You know what I'm saying? You know, without it being corrupted, like you said. Um,
Yeah.
let's see. Well, wait a minute. I'm not muted. They said they can't hear Don, but I think you're muted. I can hear you, Don. Y'all can hear him, right? Okay.
A,
I'm not
B,
sure.
C, E.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
y'all get
I hear you. It might be a little lag or something, but huh? They say they can't hear you, Don. That's odd, because I can hear you.
What about now? Is it better?
Yeah, I can hear you. So y'all out there in the audience, can you hear Don now? Can y'all hear Don? Go ahead and say something, Don. Make sure they can hear you.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Wow. I'm not muted.
Okay, they're saying they say they can hear you now. Okay, all right. So okay, they can okay, so they
Okay, so
thank y'all.
like I
We
was saying,
appreciate y'all being the sound people.
oh, like I was saying, the next book that comes out, it'll only be for certain students that reach a certain levels. They help me preserve the integrity of the system. and try to somewhat cut down on the thievery that's already going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that 100%. So, and now another question. And this goes to you, Melissa. Like, what is it that how do you frame this? Is it okay? Let me actually. I'm sorry. Let me backtrack. Okay, not Melissa. I'm sorry, Dr. Candice. Okay, because you were talking about tantra and etc. Okay. Um,
Mhm.
and they're saying, Melissa, please mute your mic. Okay. Yeah. Because I'm gonna ask this to Candice. So they ask, yeah, ask you mute, Melissa, please. Like the brother was saying earlier, and I appreciate you. I am Jeffrey. Appreciate you. He was saying that whoever's not talking, just mute the IG
Mhm.
mic. You know what I'm saying? So we just have that dialogue that way. So um, could you talk specifically a little bit more in detail about um, tantra, what it really is, maybe the origins of what it came from, and what it's really about. Could you kind of go into that?
So you want me to answer that one?
Yes,
The
ma'am.
doctor.
Candace,
Oh,
Dr.
okay. Well,
Candace.
I'll do
Yes,
the
ma'am.
best I can. See, I'm the newbie in the crew. So
Okay.
you
All
want me
right.
to do
That's
it?
cool.
But from what I've learned, because I know we have learned on the Mastya and Regression, the active form of tantra, the shamanic tantra. And
Mm-hmm.
from what I've understood, this is thousands and thousands of years of lineage in regards to this
Mm-hmm.
work and energy work, not just the sexual aspect. Because to me, I know we utilize the chi and kundalini
Mm-hmm.
energy, but the biggest piece of it is the healing work. I'm sorry, I sound like I have an echo going on here. But the biggest piece of it is the healing work. From
Mm-hmm.
my understanding thus far in the research and the things that I've been doing, and I've even incorporated some practices. I've speak often with my ancestors. I call them my spirit team. And so
Mm-hmm.
didn't even know I was a descendant of Afro-Cubans who picked up in Santa Via. So I added a couple of pieces in there as well to help to navigate and heal womb spaces. So, with the Tantra work, I've been able to, it's a different type of energy, especially in
Mm-hmm.
working with womb space. But at the same time, it's helped me to gain and be able to heal in those spaces. But based on what I know it's a use of chi energy, kundalini, and I know it's thousands and thousands of years of work utilizing, different deities, orishas, different types of things. So I know that I've utilized a lot of them, particularly Emiya, Oshun, a water elemental. So I realize it's so vast. And so just in this, I've been actively doing this for a little over a year now. Started last
Uh-huh.
August with high level orgasm. And so I'm still learning. It's still so vast. So I know what I know is just basically on the surface compared to what some of my colleagues here have experienced and known. But so far, that's what I'm learning, even with experiencing of, lifestyle as bliss. And I had an aha moment a couple weeks ago
Uh-huh.
when we did the illumination for the men a couple weeks ago with Grand Tri. And oftentimes I tell my client it's about a state of mind, but I was
Mm-hmm.
wrong in that. It's a state of being.
Mm-hmm.
I am bliss. I am joy. I am peace. That in everywhere that I move, every place that I navigate in my life, I bring that with me because that's what I am. And it's not a state of mind. State of mind is tangible. That can change. But a state of
Yes.
being, that's a whole nother level, and one of my clients, and I love that since I've been doing this work, I've been getting clients who are on the same wavelength. And one of my clients, she was like, girl, state of mind is a colonizer's way of thinking. We talk about the state of being, which
Yeah.
is a completely different thing. And to embody that and to be that. And I recognize that Tantra allows us to get to that space. And then in addition to the heart work, to fuse all of that together to create this lifestyle. That
Okay.
everything that I do and every way that I move is that I am Tantra. I am this thing. I'm not just doing this thing. I am this thing.
Okay. I got you. All right. Um, Sister Melissa, can you build a little bit more
I think
on
she
top of what
said
you're
it
saying?
all. I want to let
Okay.
her say it all, but it absolutely, definitely is a state of being. You transfer it to the mind to the state of being
Uh-huh.
because you have to see it, believe it, all of that. So when I told you that a lot of, let me make sure I'm on that. Yeah. So when I said that a lot of changes happened for me, it really made me, I guess it would have made, it really made me realize who I authentically
Mm-hmm.
should show up as
Mm-hmm.
when I'm dealing with any situation and with any person. So even when I'm doing tantra work,
Mm-hmm.
I specialize more so with working with an individual to help remove some blockages
Okay.
that may cause them from really not showing up for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And from not showing up from yourself, you can't show up for anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I can remember a specific client that I did work on in Tantra that was sort of struggling with commitment. And once we did the work, I can truly say, I'm not sure if it was just that, but it really pushed a lot of stagnant energy that he was having.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing I know, he was already in a committed relationship, but he announced his committed relationship and ended up getting married. So I definitely feel like a lot of the shift happened to make him aware of what things and doubts or anything that could have been processing in his mind and his body, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all of that, and sort of remove that block. Just like I was saying with energy work, I always use the term when people are saying, what is energy work? Well, it's like the bathroom and you use a plunger. When something gets stuck, sometimes you have to plunge that sucker out
Gotcha.
to make it move through. I know that's not the best example, but for people who really have no idea of energy work, that is something that they can use. There you go.
So, okay, so Tantra, excuse my ignorance, I got to learn more about it. So Tantra, it's more than just a sexual aspect. You're saying it's dealing with the Kundalini, chakras, and and what is sex is used to, is sex just a part of it in which you can utilize the specific techniques to do things, or how does that fit in? The actual, can you separate, I guess, the sex part to just what it really is? So, because when I think of tantra, like y'all was saying, I think about the people in India doing all these different things, but and doing things and putting energies together to raise the kundalini and chakras. So I guess that's my question. Can one of y'all kind of break that down? Because I'm wide open. I want to know this. This
Well,
is
I think the
interesting to me.
sexual part of it, what people are thinking is just really the sacral chakra when people are saying, just releasing
Mm,
orgasms to be able to let things flow out and
mm.
run through the sacral chakra. But, Candice,
Oh,
what do you say on that?
Yeah, I feel like it's much more like you said, like you're saying. I believe that as I tell clients that you are releasing pain through pleasure. You're releasing your trauma through pleasure, and so it's
oh,
reframing. That
the
experience
energy.
for
Yeah.
them. I'm sorry, yeah, with the energy, definitely. And so, like I always say, it's a slice of the pie, most definitely, because of the type of
Mm-hmm.
energy we're using. But it is releasing that pain through pleasure. It's reframing that, and like I said, even in my framework, post traumatic growth, it's kind of like, yeah, I did fall apart, but I'm picking up the pieces back together and I'm stronger and better because of it, not in spite of it. And so I think that all of that is incorporated into that whole process, like you say, even with the healing work and doing the therapy and at the same time doing the heart work and or the tantra to be able to help them to release that, not just physically, mentally and emotionally, but also spiritually. And I always
Mm-hmm.
tell my clients is mind, body, and spirit. So what happens,
Okay.
what is affecting in you energetically can affect you physically and mentally and vice versa. And so just helping clients to be aware and understanding that that's what it is. But the pleasure piece is
Mm-hmm.
helping you to release that pain in it. It's
Mm.
that's the beauty of it. That's the, the healing aspect of it.
Oh, so it's like you're transferring that energy
That's right.
with the sex in which is something, it could be something completely different, but you're using the sex as like the pleasure for the tool to transfer the energy. Is
Because the
that make
Kundalini
sense?
is just a sexual energy. It's a
Yeah.
Okay.
sexual energy. So therefore it's creating that pleasure. But it's
Oh,
not
okay.
about, and it is some people who may have anorgasmic issues, erectile
Mm-hmm.
dysfunction,
Mm-hmm.
premature ejaculation, which also helps with that as well. But like I say, a lot of my
Mm.
clients have sexual trauma histories, which also helps with that as well. And the body keeps score. There's this book, and I forgot the author's name, but it's called The Body Keeps Score. And our body literally holds trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Okay.
it's kind of getting, like some somatic therapists that work on somatization where they help the person release the pain through their body. Not sure if they have the pleasure involvement. I don't know too much about somatization, but I know it's somewhat similar, but not quite.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that that's a piece. Like I said, it's our body stored, and not just our physical body, as we know, like the Grand Trance, the pain body and the pleasure body, but it's also the
Mm-hmm.
energy body as well, and the light body. We have all these bodies, but that it is stored in those spaces. And so, like Mellisa shared perfectly, it is like a plunger. I think that's a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
analogy.
And people
Plunging
are
out and
always
clearing out the
afraid
stuff.
of, yeah, and people are always afraid of pleasure, and people don't understand. They don't feel like they're worthy of it.
Mm.
So, Tantra actually really helps you believe. And just like you said, the state of being is being able
Mm.
to enjoy it, and you are worth it, and you're able to enjoy this. And, people feel like, oh, I shouldn't, but you should.
Yeah, I remember when I had interviewed when I was interviewed Master Yao, and he was talking about it's the light being, correct, the light being and having the blockage. And is that associated with this as well, that the blockage in the light being, or is it specifically dealing with chakras? Like chakras and kundalini, I should say.
Donald.
Yeah, I want me to answer that.
Yeah, go
Can
ahead.
you repeat it
I
again?
figured you had to.
Repeat it again. Joe?
Yeah, I remember Master Yao was talking about like the light being and they're having blockage, and then once a light being had blockage, you get sick, and well, different things. And he was saying, you know, that when the blockage is in the light being, then it's impotent, and impotency would happen in ways of like erectile dysfunction. You know what I mean? Different, it can do in different ways. Is that similar to, the plunging, like the sister Mellisa was talking about, as far as getting, plunging that stuff for the light being to be flowing again?
Well, yeah, in a way, yes, but
Mm-hmm.
men can tap into their light body and still have erectile dysfunction.
Okay.
So I don't, you'll have to talk to him about that, where he got that part from.
Okay.
But because you still have other bodies that's below the light body,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where a lot of the plunging would come in at from a
Mm.
listener point of view. So what? 1, 2, 3. From the heart work system, you
Uh-huh.
have you have three other bodies. You have three other energetic bodies before the light body, and far as erectile dysfunction, most of
Mm-hmm.
those can be taken care of in the I just say the astro body in the body that's after that. But a lot of the plunging, like Mellisa is saying, yeah, you start plunging or getting rid of a lot of blockage.
Hey Don, are you yeah, you gotta unmute on IG.
Okay, I was just saying. Oh, so
Okay.
basically, I was saying, a person can be tapped into a percentage of their light body, and they still can have erectile dysfunction.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And then, like I say, you have three other bodies that, from the integration systems point of view, you have three other bodies that come before the light body.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say the astro body, a lot of times, that can take care of the erectile dysfunction. Now it
Mm-hmm.
might be the body after that where that could show up also, but usually it's in between those two bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Far as Melissa's perspective of unplunging, meaning like getting rid of a lot of blockage,
Mm-hmm.
clearing a lot of things out, that really will take care of that. Whether it's an entity that's attached that's causing the man to have erectile dysfunction. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just the way he wired himself mentally and programmed himself over the years.
Mm.
Sometimes it's eating habit. Sometimes it's his
Mm-hmm.
weight, and sometimes it's the particular woman he's dealing with.
Mm.
So he might think he has erectile dysfunction, and it might just be the certain type of woman he's dealing with. He can leave her and go get with another woman, and
It'll be fine.
her energy is very vibrant and high down there in that area, and it's
Mm.
attracting him and it's pulling him. So he doesn't have a problem getting hard with this other woman.
Mm. Oh
So
wow.
it could be a plethora of things.
Yeah, it could be whole. Okay, I can see that. So I have a question. Who's out of who out of all of y'all? I guess I'm assuming all of you all. And like I said, I'm new to this. When it comes to, like, I see like my good sister Adama, I would see her videos, and she would have the people lay down, and she's doing things with her hands, and and they're moving, they're moving all the place, and they're shaking, having, what when I'm looking at something like that, what is that relieving blockages that we're talking about now, and what is that specifically? Because I don't know the science behind it, so it's always been like intriguing to me.
So what it she so Adara, I mean, you might as well call her a master. But what she's
Hmm.
doing, she's energetically, she's tapping in with their energy,
Hmm.
but she knows how to move her energy and how to I call it transmute her energy. for whatever that guy needs. And then sometimes maybe that guy might need maybe he might need the feeling of nurturing. So she might take that feeling of nurturing on a whole nother level that he's not used to, and he might have certain attachments to him that doesn't like the energy of nourishment, of nurturing. But she might take it to a whole nother level to where that entity is not powerful enough to deal with her. So sometimes what it do, it'll cause that entity to get out the way or detach from that man. And then as it starts to detach from that man, as she keeps working, she's listening to, more than likely she's listening to his body, she's listening to his spirit, or whatever his spirit team's telling her. She's more than likely she's giving him what he needs. And sometimes how do you put it? Like men, men and women, it doesn't necessarily have to be like sexual how we think to be turned on. And sometimes we have a lot of blockages that handicaps us. So this man might just need a lot of nourishment, motherly nourishment, and maybe Adara turned it up to a level to where it's so overwhelming for him. Now he's starting to go into orgasms because his being needs it. So a lot of times, like we're in our head and we think we know everything. We think we know what we need. But like a lot of the masters that came before us, they told us like there's intelligence in our body, there's intelligence in our aura, and a lot of times we ignore that, and we think by our ego or our mind, our quote unquote mind, we know what we want and we know what we need. And a lot of times it's the furthest thing for what the body really needs at that moment.
That makes, I mean, her, the sister Mellisa, her analogies make so much sense. And once you add onto the things I've been seeing, because it's literally like the plunger, you know what I'm saying? It's stopped up, the plunger come up, now, it's releasing. That makes perfect sense. Now, wow, that's pretty heavy. I mean, just the fact that being able to know what this individual needs and to be able to, I'm not going to say manipulate in a negative term, but just manipulate the elements and the energies to assist that individual. That's heavy in itself. Good gracious, man.
And the thing is, a lot of times we don't know how powerful we are. And so when y'all was talking about earlier being in your being, a lot of people, we're afraid of who we really are. A lot of us only go to a certain limit and we'll stop. But the essence is, if you do get comfortable in your being and you're really in your being, it starts to give you access to everything that you can shift and pull from. For whatever situation you're in, to give it what it needs. But it's a lot that comes along with that a lot of us some of us not willing to deal with at that moment in time. So then we handicap ourselves. But you have some of us, we done been dragged through the mud, ran through the fire, we're on our paths. We don't mind going down that path and getting what we need to get. And then we come back to y'all, a lot of other people, and y'all like, and I want to learn this, I want to learn that, I want to have these quote unquote superpowers, but it's like, do you really know what you're asking for?
Yeah.
Or do you really want what comes along with it? It might look cool to you, but you have no idea what comes along with this either.
Some folks like, hey, well, how much worse can it get, right? let's get this working.
And be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Good gracious. I already know.
You ain't even think about it.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Good gracious, man. Whew. Yeah, because I remember, Don, you specifically going in the detail talking about you were going to in our last conversation, you were saying the soul, and a lot of people try to get connected to the soul, but I guess they're kind of once they get to the soul, it's a whole different ball game once they get past all of the different layers of getting to the soul. So that makes see, I listen to you, Don.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
I'm learning from all y'all. Y'all know me, I'm a sponge. I'll be asking questions, but I can ask questions all day. Y'all, you know what I'm saying?
I'm going to pause real quick. For me, I'm got to plug up my computer. Sorry.
Okay, do your thing. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Believe me. So yeah, it's that's very, very that's interesting. So going back to I guess this is a question. Going back to the sexual aspect of Tantra, can you harness that energy and do things with the energy, with that Tantra sexual energy?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, depending on how far you energetically, how far you can go and tap into things, it can be limitless. So, like, for example, is not too long ago we had an event with me and Jay Williams and Adara. She assisted, and we called it the Sexy Heart Workshop, where the Spirit of the Rose was introduced, and that was just from a very mild introduction. As far as once you learn how to tap into the Spirit of the Rose, and you learn how to go with the flow of that spirit. Yeah, it can be very overwhelming. So, like, a lot of us, we think we know what sensuality is, but we really don't know until you start working with that Spirit of the Rose, and she starts to teach you things on a whole much deeper level. So for the ones that was there and the people that could tell you, so it's like, so just imagine if you know how to harness that level of sensuality, and then keep taking it to another level, and another level, and another level. And then you apply that to your tantra work. As far as like orgasms, it happened a whole lot faster. But that depends on the person, like how much work they're willing to put in when it comes to themselves, and to be able to help them assist somebody else. Like if you got an issue with, for example, if you're someone who has an issue with intimacy, but then you call yourself trying to do tantra work. You're not gonna be able to penetrate that person very deep energetically.
Gotcha.
Does that mean you have to have a level of openness with you also? You can only go as far as you can go as far as when you're working on somebody.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because if you can't be open to receive or to grow, then you limit yourself, right? You know what I'm saying? I guess, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I mean, oh wow, man, that's really amazing. Good gracious. Okay.
And sometimes with those sessions, if you are closed off, I mean, you can only do the best you can do, but the more you start to open yourself, you have a lot of things that'll come to you. You have a lot of things that's looking over that person you're working over also. And some people are guarded by things of a higher nature. Some have angels looking after them. Some have different netters looking after them. And so a lot of times, if you're open enough, they'll come to you in those sessions, and they'll give you directions to tell them what that person needs. But if you're so caught up in your head, or you can't hear them, or you blocked off, or you just so caught up in your ego, as in like, no, I just want him to have an orgasm, or I just want her to have an orgasm. Just know, like, an orgasm is really scratching the surface. The orgasm goes a whole lot. And it's a whole lot more to tantra than just an orgasm.
When you're talking about like the beings over you, just for lack of a better term, like visitations, are you talking about like something that, is it like your body's taken over, like a possession, or is it just like a download, or is it information that did they how can you kind of describe how that is?
It can be everything you just said, but then a lot of times they'll just come in the room. They'll come in the room and just tell you, and they'll just like sit there in the room or stand there in the room and watch you. Or sometimes they'll join in and help you. Or sometimes
you can see them.
Want them to, sometimes I can, and I can feel them, or you can smell them. You'll feel the energy change in the room in certain areas. Or sometimes if you're willing to, you can be a vessel for them.
Yeah,
and they'll work, and they'll work through you.
And the more I'm assuming, the more that you're open and you can control this energy, just the more that they could utilize you, and the more powerful ultimately you could be. Correct?
Possibly, but you also got to be careful. I just say this, it's just my opinion. You also got to be careful of just letting anything come in and use you. So like, I don't let anything just come in and what's the word I'm looking for? Mine just went blank. But I just don't let anything come in and possess me. I'll put it like that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like, you have things of a higher nature. Their energy is so strong, they can come in and use you. But then after that, man, you might be tired for 3-4 days after that.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you got to be like, no, because you have a lot of other things that might not be a higher nature, but it's like, oh, he or she's an open vessel. I want to, relive this, so I'm going to attach to them. And if you let them, so now all of a sudden you having cravings for smoking a cigarette if you never don't smoke a cigarette,
Yeah.
Things like that. But it's like if you don't ever take the time out to rebuild yourself back up energetically, it's like you'll just stay weak, you stay drained, and next thing you know, things about higher nature or lower nature is like now you just become like they servant.
Gotcha.
And it's not about that.
Zombie.
Yeah, you don't want
Like
that power.
so, and on the other side, like some of the things I was saying, some of the things I say Adara doing when the people are, it's almost like an exorcism. Am I correct? As far as different spirits that leeching on to those individuals, is that correct? Like when
Yes.
and you're getting them off, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay, that makes sense. Because it is like I guess you have two. You can have when you see that one portion of a possession like in a ceremony, you know what I mean, in a positive possession when something comes in and does whatever they got to do. Obviously, there's a negative side to that as well, and that's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Interesting.
And a
Wow.
lot of times, I know people be afraid of that when they coming up, learning and doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very rare you're gonna get you perform an exorcism or get somebody that's possessed with something like out of the movies where they
Yeah,
body
yeah, yeah, yeah,
breaking
yeah.
half. So, but sometimes that be in a lot of people's minds, and most of the time, the things that are possessing people usually they're very weak as
Yeah,
far
yeah.
as them trying to reach out and do something to you.
Mm-hmm.
They need
That
a
makes
body to
sense.
attach to.
Yeah, and you almost have to, and you have to be in a low. I'm assuming you have to be in a low vibrational state for them to even, or this, I guess, kind of degenerate mindset for them to even latch on. Is that correct or no?
Yes, and sometimes sometimes you might just have a hole in certain cracks in your aura, certain places
Mm.
build
Gotcha.
up, where they can
Hmm.
seep in that also.
Are I always hear, of psychic self-defense and different things like that. Is that something that could assist you in fighting off these entities and et cetera, or is it
Oh
just
yeah.
building up your aura, or how does that
I
work?
mean, well, my opinion, I would say the first thing is, building up your energy field,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, you do have all different type of ways you can protect yourself against them. You can trap them. You can grab, you literally reach out and grab them and hold them and project to them until they disperse into whatever you want to do with it. You can send them
Mm-hmm.
places.
Mm.
You can, you can be a butthole to them if you want to, as far as the ones
Yeah.
that's like negative and that's aggravating.
Mm-hmm.
Or
And
if you
we
don't want
just
to do it, if you don't want to do that, you have things you can call on that are coming and take care of it for you. Once your energy
yeah.
gets high enough, and you learn who to call on for certain situations like that.
Okay. All right, so I'm happy y'all y'all laid a good foundation because I want to hear about this conference because y'all done got me you know what I'm saying y'all done got me wondering about this conference now because if y'all how many of y'all gonna be at the conference? Is it more y'all or is it just
Yeah,
y'all
it's more
three?
of us. It's
How
more of
many
us.
total?
Uh, well, two
Six,
more that's not on here.
Mm-hmm.
3 more.
Yeah, 3 more that's not on here.
3 more.
Two
Yeah.
or three. Yeah.
3 more that are going to be in here.
Okay, so please could you tell the people the origins of this conference, why y'all are doing it, and what are you kind of expecting? And y'all can see if y'all go to YouTube, I'm gonna put all the information in the description. It's already on YouTube. If you go there, you'll see the dress and everything. And I'll put it in the description after this. But yeah, explain the origins of it, please, if somebody, why it's going on, and what are you expecting, out of this conference?
Well, the origins is more so like we hear from different people when whether we doing sessions or students or people that's not students or just not they're not maybe not getting sessions from us, but you see a lot of people that's making a lot of mistakes and pitfalls that could be avoided, whether it's due
Mm-hmm.
to their ego,
Mm-hmm.
whether they just doing any and everything they see on the internet. And
Mm-hmm.
now it's
Okay.
opening up, it's setting traps for them. It's opening them up to be attacked and all type of things. And a lot of basic things also. If you don't have integrity for yourself, depending on how you deal with yourself and you deal with other people, you got
Mm-hmm.
some people, they take that and they want to deal with certain entities and certain deities that way. And for whatever reason, they think they can outsmart certain deities and certain entities. And the next thing you know, now they life going haywire.
Yeah.
So basically, it's to get them like kind of like the one-on-one on things of what to watch out for. They can do it if they want to, but at least we're gonna put it out there for them so they can know. And if they still decide to do it, that's on them. But they can't say nobody never warned me. Or it's like certain things we probably been through. It's like, man, I wish somebody would have told me this or told me that.
Yeah.
This could have been avoided.
Alleviating the trial and error, right?
Yeah, I mean, you still gonna have
no
some
more than you.
Yeah, exactly.
So who thought about this? Who thought about the conference? Who was it? Just y'all collectively like we ought to do this? What happened?
No, I had thought about it, and then it came to me, and then I talked and reached out to Mellisa. Yep.
Okay.
And then I sat back. I was like, well, who can we get on the conference? And I just started listening to my intuition and just see if they was available as far as who the names that was coming to me.
And are you do you think this is going to be something ongoing, or is it something that are you kind of just trying to see how it kind of works, and is this something that y'all really want to keep moving with the specific conferences, or?
Yeah, and I mean I plan for it to get a whole lot bigger and better as the years go on.
Yeah.
Yep. And eventually get to some stuff where there won't be no training wheels. And if the people just get if the shit just get scared out of them, oh well, they'll be all right. Ain't nothing bad to them, but yeah, they'll recover.
So it's a type of situation in which people come in and they can talk to y'all individually. Y'all gonna be lecturing, or is it it's a gonna be okay. So
and then there's also going to be sessions available afterwards too. So you may have Jay, he'll probably be there whether he's doing heart work or he's doing his candle work. Whatever sessions, whatever type of sessions you may need, there's going to be people there for you that can offer you sessions also.
See, y'all, people out there, and in the audience that are watching this, y'all gotta understand this is the day and time in when, ain't no more spookism. That the priests and the priestesses are here in the flesh, and y'all looking at them. You know what I mean? This ain't no spooky time. You got people that really, this is the day and time now in which we are physically able to manifest these gifts and help and heal people. And you're looking at, some of these individuals now. This is real, y'all. This ain't no phony, you know what I'm saying? This is as real as it gets. And unfortunately, as we all know, like a lot of things like religion and other things kind of made us think this all, this is all spooky and weird and stuff. Nah, people that look like us and your bloodline have been doing this since the beginning of time. You know what I'm saying? And now it's coming back. So when you get an opportunity to come out to these and talk to these good brothers and sisters, please take it, because they will be able to assist you. And they are all, sincere, because they wouldn't be sitting here, and connected to each other, if they didn't have a sincere heart and want to help you. You know what I mean? And these are gifts for you. I remember back in the day, they were saying that, like Dr. Sabi was a gift, you know what I'm saying, for us as far as health and stuff, Hey, y'all looking at gifts right now, you know what I'm saying? And they do this every day. So, I'll get off my, what do you call it, the soapbox, but I had to say that because it's real. You know what I'm saying? So you said it's on October 15th, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Is it tickets available like on the website, or how do people
get? You're gonna get in contact with Re-Kee Services. It'll be $50 ahead of time and $65 at the door.
Okay. And like I said, I'll put that in the description once I get that. So after the fact, people will see that. You know what I'm saying? So, wow.
I just want to add some things. A lot of things when I decided to work with Don on this. When you talked about earlier, when you asked the question, why did I decide to get into, this part of my life? Why did the spiritual journey happen? I really wanted other people who may be struggling, and that's one thing about Re-Kee Services too. People who have a gift or maybe feel like something is wrong. What did I do? Where is this coming from? All of these emotional issues or maybe concerns that people may have, and helping them learn how to change certain behavior patterns. How do you do that? How do you do that? Where do you start? Yeah. And where is this spiritual? Why am I seeing this? Why am I bothered? And I'm going to say this is so true. And I know Dr. Candice knows this. More people who are mediums and spiritualists and people who are empaths suffer from more anxiety and depression, whether they want to say it or not, they do. And so with this, we have to learn how we have coping skills for mental health. There are coping skills for spirituality and spiritual etiquette, just like Don was saying, and the partner that I'm going to be working with, Yayi Oshun, we have to really understand how to lift ourselves and really get the knowledge and really understand, just like he said, what spirits are you talking to? Don't just say spirit told me something. Actually know what you're dealing with. Where are you emotionally? Where are you physically? Where are you mentally? What are you pulling on? So this is an opportunity for people to really understand what their gifts are, how to use them, understand where things are coming from, understand how to balance your own life, the spiritualist as well as anybody else who may just have questions. This is why I really thought this conference would be very beneficial for you.
You just said something that just cracked my skull, and I never really. I mean, I guess I sort of thought about it, but just due to the fact of like because all of us being in this third dimension in this crazy world we're living in, and a lot of us, as we know here, we just see right through it. I mean, like we just see it for what it really is, and and it's deep because you understand. We understand there's agendas behind all this stuff. You know what I mean? And we understand all this stuff, and it's attack, 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 attack. You know, and it seems to me from like what you're just saying, somebody that has these gifts that are a part of this and don't and can't separate it, it can make them go crazy.
It can make you go crazy. It can.
Yeah. And a lot of us crazy and don't even know it. And we just hide it behind this quote unquote spiritual system and this system over here, that system over here. And instead of just going to get psychological help from a therapist and really put the work in. Instead, you want to run in, want to go be a part of every system and not accomplishing anything.
Not accomplishing.
Jumping from system to system ain't gonna help you.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to put in the work.
There you go.
Spiritual mixed martial artist. I tell you, you gotta get your one black belt first and move on, right?
Yeah.
Can't be jumping.
Well, master that a little bit too.
Just my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's deep on so many levels. Just as far as how
African Americans don't like to feel like, oh, this is not what it is. I'm not there. But you're running around, and I don't like just saying diagnosis, but bipolar, all kind of personality disorders and everything else, and you trying to have a relationship.
Yeah.
With who?
Yeah.
Because you're a reflection of yourself. You pulling the same person that you are.
Yeah. And the person mirroring you. And if you're in a low vibration or I'm assuming if you have what's the word? You're exuding or you're representing lower self, then you would be attracting lower self, correct?
Yeah. Because that's what you're comfortable with, and that's what you're familiar with.
Oh, wow.
Yep, it's the unknown.
Good.
So I said I was agreeing with Mellisa that it is the unknown and the unfamiliar. Sometimes people are comfortable sitting in the pain as opposed to just growing, but they not knowing what their growth is and where it's at. And even where you're pulling from, like you said, when it comes to and a sound mind and a sound heart. Because when you don't know where you're pulling from. And I remember talking to Master Yao going on the journey, and he was sharing, like, you have to make sure that your heart is in a good space and your mind. Because if it's not, it can go to a very dark place.
Yeah, there was last night I had a real good interview with a sister, and she was really about, magic mushrooms and, and really going there. But she was also, focusing on just the mental aspect of just being right in your mind. You know what I mean? And it just seems like, it all starts. The mind is a big part of this, right? Just being able to, I remember Don be breaking down like
the sections of the heart.
Yeah, the sections of the heart, and also just what I think he said. He said there's two. I think he disappeared. I think he was saying that I can still hear you, Don, and now I can hear you on YouTube. But I think it's two brains, like your gut, right? And I think that were you talking about that, Don?
Yeah,
Um, how you got your mind and you got your gut is a different mind. Is that, am I right?
yeah, three different brains.
Yeah. Okay. Three different brains.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
three
Yeah.
different brains. The heart, the mind, and the gut.
Yeah. Okay. So he's about to get. I'm assuming his phone might have died, but he's come back on. But for IG, but he was just saying that the heart, the mind. Oh, there he comes. Yeah. I'll let him. I don't want to paraphrase. He know better than me. So let's let him. Let's see when he come back in here. But let's see. He should be come back. Okay. There he is.
Okay.
Yeah. So. But in saying that, you have to. Those have to be aligned for you to be. To be thinking right. Is that, lack of better terms? Is that correct?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes. That's more tier two. But I mean, what I can say is, there is a lot of research done. If you go and look, if you start working on your heart first, then
mm-hmm,
it starts clear your mind. It starts to work on
mm-hmm,
the brain. That's the next
mm.
step. Then from the brain, it goes down to the gut,
Ah,
and then the rest is tier two stuff. How that gets into how it all gets into alignment and how you keep it in alignment.
mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay, okay, yeah. Because I guess the heart is the what's what would be the scientific aspect as far as like is it because of the chambers in the heart like you were saying, and the heart giving energy out to the rest of the body, including the mind? How?
Well, just the heart giving energy out to the rest of the body.
Okay.
So even from an energetic point of view, the more you
Mm-hmm.
start to clear your heart, the more you start to clear your heart, and you start to clear those sections.
Mm-hmm.
The aura around the heart gets bigger, and it starts to feel
Mm.
lighter. And so after a while, that aura starts to spread over each chakra one by one. Then
Mm.
eventually it gets to the mind. Eventually, it goes all the way down past the root chakra.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, like when once you start to get to those points, that's when you have more access to go deeper in those areas by the way of the heart.
When
That's
when
what I
we
thought, like an
Mhm.
integration system. Everything slowly starts to integrate, and it's about everything becoming whole, becoming one.
Okay. So and it's interesting to me because the more and more I learn about the energy work, and the more I learn, it's interesting. I'm gonna say this real quick. Like my sensei back in Atlanta, he taught a certain way, and it was interesting because I could feel his energy when he was teaching, right? Just showing different things. And now where I'm at now, I have a different sensei. You know what I'm saying? And he was showing to me as well. And when he trains, I mean, I feel his energy different as well. You know what I mean? It's different. There's different energy signatures. I'm saying all that because it's interesting to me because the from what y'all are talking about, like the aura, the heart, and all these different things, and also like the sister before yesterday was talking about like the senses, and like talking like the different deities and the tarot. It's like it seems like these beings, and just I guess y'all can just tell me your opinion, but these beings in which ultimately we were and are, so to speak, they were able to integrate all this and have full access on the highest levels in this anthropomorphic form,
Mhm.
right? Am I getting on the right
That's
path?
correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Just like like an example is like when they were talking about the Kundalini earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So I know for me in my experience, yeah, you can use the Kundalini for healing and for orgasms, but you can also raise your Kundalini where it gets high enough, you can shoot it out like an antenna.
Mm.
So if you do have things that's attacking you, you can send your Kundalini after it. Or if you have something you have certain entities or whatever that's attacking family members, you can send your Kundalini after it. Because after a while, if you my bad. So I'm saying don't say. Every now and then I get to talking and they're like, nope, don't share that with people. Just I'll just say you can. After a while, your Kundalini should be able to transform. You should be able to send it out and give it missions to do certain
Mm-hmm.
things. I just say put it that way.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's interesting you said it because as opposed to saying, "Oh, your ancestor has to do that," whatever the case may be, it's different because you're dealing with internal energies that could do the same thing that you would normally say for another entity or spirit or whatever the case to do. Correct?
Yes, and I'm glad you said that with the ancestor thing. Like we have to be more realistic, and I know a lot of us we love our loved ones who passed and crossed over, but
Hmm.
just because they cross over don't mean they become like these super
Hmm.
guys, super deities. So a lot of people be out
Yes.
here talking about, oh, he or she don't know who they messing with. Well, my ancestors don't play that, and and respectfully, like you know, your ancestors on the other side, they got things they got missions and things
They,
they're doing,
they got to
and they're
work
not as
on. Yep.
powerful as you would like them to be. Some
Hmm.
of your ancestors are, some of them not, but the ones that are,
Hmm.
maybe they might intervene, but maybe they got a whole bunch of other responsibilities on the other, on their side.
Hmm.
So don't, in my opinion, so some people getting caught up in, oh, my ancestors this, my ancestors that. Is like
Hmm.
you're a little delusional. Like you really don't
Yeah.
understand what you're
Religious.
talking about.
Religious.
Yeah, and you really don't know your ancestors like you think you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember one of my teachers transition, Chief Amachi, and one of my good sisters. She was kind of channeling and actually priestess Sadrayman, my good sister. We were just having a combination because about him and being on the other side, etc. And she was just talking about how there was people on the other side still looking for Jesus. They
Yep.
transitioned.
Yep.
They still walking around like, yo, where's he at? You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, and these are our ancestors, like you talking about,
Yep.
our
They don't want to
ancestors
let
up
go,
there, yeah, they don't want to let go. So they're stuck in a certain vibratory rate, right, or level because they can't move on. They still
and that,
believe the fairy tale.
yeah, and that's why a lot of them still come back and they'll try to attach to us or attach to other people because maybe they still hold on to Jesus, and maybe you're not a church person. They don't attach to you. Now all of a sudden you feel like you being nudged to go to church because you need to get close to Jesus, but it could be that
Mm,
ancestor that attached to you, or like in a more messed up way. Maybe you had an ancestor that was addicted to sex, and now they done attached to you. Maybe you was never really big on sex, but now they done attached to you. So now all of a sudden you walking around thinking you got a hot sex drive, when really you done had something that attached to you, and that's really not you, because it don't want to let go of that feeling or that sensation, so it's living through you,
mm-hmm. Yeah, I
and that
remember
could be with
I was
everything.
reading this one actual fact that Dr. York put out, and he was saying that it's like a ladder, and like there's like your ancestor, your genetics is like a ladder, and the ancestors, depending on how you're vibrating, certain ancestors can get to the higher part of the level and start to take over, you know, that those aspects and be a part of your actions because you let them get to a certain point and
Yep.
now they're a part of your actions. Like for perfect example, like an alcoholic, you might
Yep.
not even want to drink, you know what I'm saying, but one of your answers is like, yo, I got to get my ripple on, so
Mm-hmm.
they attach to you, they jump on up the ladder. Now you at the bar, you're like, why am I I don't even like drinking, or like you
Yep.
said, that makes perfect sense.
Because like they say, everything that everything vibrates. So technically, just about everything has a spirit attached to it
Yeah,
or
yeah.
energetic signature. So they
Hmm.
feed, even though they can't physically drink it, but they're still feeding off of that energetic signature of that particular alcohol.
The ether
Yep.
aspect, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, the
exactly.
etheric
Yep.
aspect. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Because it is in spirit form. That's why they call it spirits, right? And I noticed that as well. We just in seeing different ceremonies, how prevalent alcohol is in how it's used in bringing invoking spirits. You know what I mean?
Now I
As a
will say with that, it depends on the person who's using alcohol and how they're using
uh,
it. So
yeah,
some people do have the ability where they can manipulate the alcohol and
yeah.
change the energetic
Mm-hmm.
signatures for certain spirits also.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can control it pretty much, right? And
So
and
it's not
do it.
necessarily like a negative thing like some people would
Yeah.
automatically assume.
Yeah, I've no in my personal experience, I've seen it more so in a positive as opposed to a
Yeah.
negative. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that makes perfect sense. Oh man, y'all done cracked my skull in there. I won't be able to sleep tonight. Y'all to be ashamed of yourselves. Another night. I'm gonna tell everybody out there, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta go to this conference. You know what I'm saying? You said it's October 15th. Look on there, 7 p.m. And once I
Yeah,
send this off, I'm gonna have, I'm sorry, 11 a.m.
yeah,
to
yeah.
7 p.m. Sorry about that. Yeah, but I'm like I said, I'm gonna put all the information in the description. And if y'all send me the link, this actual direct link, um, I'll post it in there as well so people can, get the tickets. Definitely. But is there anything else that y'all wanted to build on?
Um. Oh yeah, Sadiq's. What's that? The 24th
Oh yeah, yeah. We gonna
in
me and
that
Adara,
area.
me and Adara, we gonna finalize that. We gonna I'll let once we know. I'm gonna let all y'all. I'd love to have all y'all there as well. So y'all can do a warm up for y'all for y'all's joint or something like that. But yeah, I will definitely, Don. I'll hook you up once we get all the details. I don't know if she's still watching this, but I need to actually call her tomorrow. Um, but yeah, we'll talk about it in the near future. Go ahead, sis.
I like to add that coming up this Saturday for the people here in Atlanta or Stone Mountain, this area in Georgia, Re-Kee Services will be having their wellness marketplace. So we would
Okay.
love to see you experience all of the different practitioners, therapists, everybody will be there showing out. We have a brother that does past life regression, tell you how many lives you're going to have. Also, brain spotting, which helps with anxiety and depression, and also helps you understand why these behaviors are continuing to repeat as well. So
Hmm.
these are all at reduced prices, amongst the other things that we do, which is massage, reflexology, ear candling, quite a number of spiritual readers, spiritual readers, and also, gosh, goodness, most of those reflect. I'll have that flyer as well, and give that information as
Yeah,
well.
please do. I'll post it as well.
But
Definitely.
we are doing all of these at a minimal, and it's right next door to the same place, 7910 Ring Road, Stale in Stonecrest, Georgia, Re-Kee Services.
Excellent. Dr. Candice, where can these good people link up with you and get some nice sessions to get them on the right path? Where they
Yeah,
where they
sure. It's a couple ways. So for the therapy side, which is also spiritual, is a new creation psychotherapy services.com. Just type in creation, pop up, and then the tantra, spiritual divination, all that is on the tantricmft.com. And so those
Mhm.
handles are also the same on social media.
Okay, yeah, I think I got most of those in there. So if y'all just send me the actual link to the specific event, I'll get that up there as well. Well, it was definitely an honor, and I know, and I'm gonna be seeing y'all more often because I'm in the near future. Well, I'm already down in Atlanta. I'm back and forth right now, but you know what I'm saying, Don. I'm gonna have to go ahead and I know I'll be saying this before. I'm gonna have to link up with you, man. At least get the book. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we need to trade books so I can. How about
Okay.
that?
All right. That's cool.
Next time, yeah, we trade books. But I'm just seeing. All jokes aside, I'm really starting to see more and more the importance of this internal energy and how important it is and how much we have to harness it and utilize it for our advance as our overall being. I'm seeing that more and more, and I thank y'all, beautiful brothers and sisters, because y'all are leading the way, and y'all are really, and it's so, it makes me feel so good just to see y'all beautiful souls, sincere souls out there helping our people, because we've been through hell. You know what I'm saying? These last years, and now it's time to heal and get right back to it. So I appreciate every one of y'all. You know what I'm
I
saying? So
And
appreciate you
just
too.
know Black Therapists Rock. Black Therapists
Yes, they
Rock.
I
do.
know that's
We
right.
do. Black
They do
Therapists. That's
all
right.
day.
Yep. I got my black therapist. I sure do. You know what I'm saying? And so happy. Well, that's it. If y'all haven't already, please go ahead and like all these beautiful individuals here. Don, um, Candice and Miss Mellisa, you know what I'm saying? Please like them, share this out everywhere. This, so we can get this information, everybody. Tell them, show up to the event. You know, it was a pleasure speaking to y'all. And of course, if y'all haven't already, please go to Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast, and check out my book, Bicultural Living and Leaving the World of Illusions. Um, um, check it out, my journey to how I got here and other things as well. So, that's it for me. I think everything else said that, y'all got anything else or
Nah, that's it for
no?
now.
That's
That's
it.
it. Okay.
That's it.
Well, thank y'all, beautiful people, again, and it was an honor having you on here. And we definitely, we're gonna be, y'all gonna be seeing more of me. Don, let you know, y'all gonna,
All right.
I'm gonna see, getting some.
Well, thank
I
you for
might,
having us on. I
yeah,
appreciate it.
Yes,
yeah,
appreciate that.
anytime, literally. So I might
Yes.
have to link up with every one of y'all and get my sessions on. I ain't playing either. So,
Come on the 17th.
okay, all right, cool, yeah. So you're the second person to ask me to come to the 17th. I think Amani's
There
she
you
want
go.
me to come down there for her birthday party. So I might have to make that happen. We're gonna
There
see.
you go.
But
Mhm.
all right. Well, that's it for me. Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast. Please follow, like, and share, and we are out. Peace and love and ascension, healing and all that good stuff. I appreciate all y'all and
All right.
for viewing and also doing your thing. Peace.
Peace.